Traffic from the Michael's Flooring Outlet.com Traffic Center.
Well, we still got our issues on 270. This traffic report service of the Penn Mutual Life Insurance Company working that crashed out 270 north of 44. Traffic's all jammed back at Olive and northbound. We had an incident in the right lane or right shoulder in the same vicinity, and northbound's jammed approaching 44. It's backing up the 44 ramp eastbound and westbound in the area, of course, as well. If you're on eastbound 64 Kings Highway headed out to Hanley's busy, a little slow, Spady to Ballas. And approaching Winghaven after that is just briefly slowed at 364. Southbound 170 bogs down at Olive. Eastbound 64, you got heavy traffic east of Mason at 270. Lindbergh midway into McKnight. North 170 Scudder to Airport Road. Westbound 70 through Highway K, the busiest part there. We still have a little bit of a jam in North County. Eastbound 270 from 367 to about Lilac. Then it's opening up some slow traffic across the Chain Rocks Canal bridges from an earlier incident we had on the Chain Rocks. Southbound 55, Gasconade Bay. Right around Highway Z, just the typical slowdowns. Eastbound 5570, approaching 255 to 157 as a backup. Times are always changing, but Penn Mutual stands the test of time. The 178-year young mutual company is leading the way in life insurance. Ask your independent advisor or go to pennmutual.com/STL. I'm Roger Brand in the Michael's Flooring Outlet.com Traffic Center.
News, traffic, and the latest from the world of sports. This is Rush Hour Sports on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Guys, welcome into Monday on Rush Hour Sports here on KMOX. Bernie Miklasz, Matt Pauley, Kevin Wheeler. Playing a little Guns N' Roses today, given the announcement that they're going to play at Busch Stadium this summer coming up in August. So a little tip of the cap for the guys, even though live performances leave a little to be desired these days. Have to make a hard decision come August to see if that's going to be a part of my concert-going summer. Good to be with you guys. We got a lot to do.
They have a complicated relationship. Relationship with the city of St. Louis.
They made up for that a few years ago. It was like 8 years ago when they played at the Dome, and they made jokes about it and apologized. It was all right. And by they, I mean Axl Rose, because he's a psycho. Yeah, it was a little bit of an international incident if you don't remember it. Everybody here will remember it, though. Guys, we got a lot to do today. I will say this, just to start, we're going to do a lot of baseball here at the beginning. We'll talk about Mizzou as we go. But, Bernie, you made me laugh when we were texting. Like, man, we got to get some stuff going. This is the worst part about the baseball offseason is that you have this lag. And I know why. I get it. I'm not saying you have to, you have to make any major changes. But it sucks so much compared to other off seasons because it's just like you get a month and a half of like, oh, here's a minor move here and a minor move there.
Yeah, some other teams are making moves already, but we know that Chaim Bloom's going to be active. The Cardinals better be active after all this talk about everyone's available, basically. But yeah, I don't know what it is, man, but I just lose patience with it.
I do too.
I think part of it, guys, is that I spend too much time in my workspace at home and checking various sites, including the ones, these aggregator sites that regurgitate every rumor. It's almost like like World War III just started.
Yeah.
And I just get burned out on it. Like we were talking about it, in the text before the show, and I was kind of making fun of it. Okay, great. Ken Rosenthal, whomever, the Pirates were interested in 3 Cardinals. All right, great. Tomorrow there'll be another rumor. Is interested in 8 cars. I mean, it's everybody gets to click, and I get it. It just gets monotonous.
Yeah, we did actually have of a transaction with the Cards. It's not a big one. Friend Derek Gould had it, and obviously we were talking about it on Friday with the non-tender deadline and all that. But Matt, it sounds like Joel Poso's coming back. What would be a minor league deal, frees up a 40-man spot, but keeps him in that role that you described so well last week when we talked about it, which is your depth/insurance piece with a lot of young guys, some uncertainty, and maybe trade possibilities.
Yeah, so last year he came in and his job was to be the veteran AAA catcher, to be alongside of Jimmy Crooks and provide emergency, backup at the major league level. He did that. They needed him because of injuries, and he certainly did a respectable job at the major league level. I think he comes back in the exact same role. He's somebody that can go be at AAA with Leonardo Bernal. However, the one added thing here is there's a lot of uncertainty with Ivan Herrera. They're going to give him the opportunity to try to catch again, but there's no guarantee that that's going to work. So if all of a sudden you get into spring training and it just becomes clear that you cannot trust Herrera behind the plate, that his throws down to second are not any better. You feel like his lower body is starting to get sore again, where it's going to lead to injuries. Well, if you pull the plug on Herrera as the catcher, and let's say also at the same time, maybe you traded Pedro Pajes in the offseason, it provides a little bit of protection. So I think it's a really good move to bring him back. I was a little surprised it happened this fast because I thought maybe him and his representation would look around a little bit longer to see whether or not there was a guaranteed big league deal out there for him. Maybe they knew right away that just wasn't going to be his market. So he comes back to a place where he's comfortable, and I would say there's a good likelihood that we see Joel Pozo in the big leagues at least for some time at some point this upcoming season.
Do you guys think that this move in any way foreshadows a Pajes trade, or is that jumping to a conclusion that's premature?
I would say that it doesn't necessarily foreshadow it, but it kind of allows it. If some, like say you're talking about other deals and another team goes, man, we would really love to add a catcher too. And maybe it's Crooks too. Maybe, he could be a guy with value just like Pajes. Pajes is more of the known commodity and an elite defender, but Crooks is also a guy that a lot of teams would love to have, a left-handed hitting catcher who had success at AAA, who's pretty good behind the plate. And you can afford to move him long-term because you've got Bernal waiting, who just won the Gold Glove in the minor leagues. And then you got Rainiel Rodriguez down the pipeline before that. Actually, I'm leaving a guy or two out. They've probably got a catcher. They have a catcher in between those two guys in terms of the developmental scale. So I just think it gives you the freedom to do it, but you don't have to. Although I will say 5 catchers between major leagues and AAA is pretty crowded if that's the way it ends up.
I think this is all holding space. Just holding space.
Yeah.
Until Rainiel Rodriguez is ready. And I say he's in a fast track and he's 18 years old, and people say, okay, spare me of the hype, and all that stuff. One of the leading prospect analysts at Baseball America, which I trust, it's like the Bible when it comes to prospects. He was saying in a chat that he thinks there's a good chance that Rainiel Rodriguez will be one of the top 10 prospects in all of baseball.
Yeah.
At this time next year, or even during the season. He's that good, and he's just wowed everybody. So everyone's just basically they're sitting at the table until the big man shows up, and then they're all going to be backups.
When you think about what we saw from Rodriguez, and he's young, but that's the point. He doesn't turn 19 until January. So an 18-year-old reached high A. Granted, it was a cup of coffee at high A. But in 84 games, hit 20 home runs, 22 doubles, and walked almost as often as he struck out at 18, playing full season ball for half of his season. That's legit. And that's probably why you're getting that level of excitement. The only question down the road probably is it, do you want to keep him behind the plate with that kind of bat? And does his defense merit it? Because if the defense, well, of course you do, but if the defense is even middling, man, a lot of teams would say, that guy's a first baseman or that guy's a DH or whatever. But I'd leave him back there as long as I could, because that spot's invaluable.
I think if they would move him to another position, he's the type of kid. Rob Raines wrote a great piece on him during the baseball season. And the Cardinals people down, in the system, they just rave about the guy's work ethic. Just rave about he's the first guy there, last guy to leave, never wants to leave, always wanting to work with somebody. So I guess it's a candidate for a position change. But then again, I mean, other than the injury risk, I just think the position is changing. I think it gives your team a huge plus if you've got a catcher that's going to catch 80, 90 games, even at minimum.
Correct. Yeah.
As an impact hitter. I worry that we as fans and media, and I was guilty of this last year with Pajes, where we get so fixated on defense. It's like we're all living in the 1960s or something. No, let's celebrate the fact that you have catchers who may not be all that great defensively.
Yeah.
But I think they more than make up with it what they do at the plate.
If you're elite, for sure, yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway,
I was more bothered by Ivan Herrera's lack of availability than by his defensive prowess. He was not a very good defensive catcher. I'm not trying to
you're right.
put
Right.
lipstick on a pig here.
But you don't want him on the injured list.
Right. He couldn't stay healthy as a catcher. So that's the thing that tells me, hey, get this guy behind the plate. Is it frustrating in the moment when he throws something out to center field or he barely gets it to, just has a terrible throw to second? Yes, in the moment, it's not good. I'm not running away from that whatsoever. But if you're a guy that's putting up all-star offensive numbers the way Ivan Herrera does in the big picture, I could take a step back and accept the not-so-great defense. What I can't accept is the lack of availability.
Yeah, really good way to put it. Yeah, you got to have those guys on the field. All right, more baseball coming your way in a couple of minutes. This may or may not be a direct Cardinals-related topic, but it's interesting, and I'll throw it out there as the tease. But there's some buzz out there from legitimate people about teams in the free agent market thinking about Ryan Helsley as a starting pitcher. And I kind of find the idea fascinating. We've seen this happen recently with other guys who were minor league starters and then had their first good run of success in the majors as relief, then move back and do well at it. We'll talk a bit about that scenario coming up next year at KMOX.
Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, the genuine, the original, present 100 years of KMOX.
We're celebrating number 4 and number 5. Let me hear you on your feet as loud as you can get.
There, when we said goodbye.
Today, we recognize two of the most beloved players in Cardinals history, in Yadier Molina and Albert Pujols.
Both of you have given so much joy as we watched you play this great game.
I want to thank the Wit family and Mo for believing in me all these years and give me the opportunity to play baseball here in St. Louis.
And to all of you counting on that show, thank you so much for all your support, all the joy, all the tears that we have shared together.
There for every headline, every heartbreak, every heartbeat. KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
What's up, Missouri? Tony Gonzalez here. I've spent a lot of Sundays right here playing in front of the best fans in football. Now, it's almost your turn to get in the game because DraftKings Sportsbook is coming to the Show Me State December 1st. Soon you'll get fast payouts when you win. Safe and secure app that's easy to use and promos that keep the action going all season long. It's America's top-rated sportsbook app. New customers can sign up right now and score $300 in bonus bets on launch day, December 1st.
Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code KMOX. New Missouri customers, sign up today and score $300 in bonus bets once we're live. That's code KMOX. In partnership with DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 and over. Visit President, Missouri. Eligibility restrictions apply. Terms at DraftKings.com/sportsbook. Subject to regulatory licensing requirements. Bonus bets are non-withdrawable. Expires 4 days after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see sportsbook at DraftKings.com/promos.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. Ever wonder why Big Wireless wants you on a limited plan? They probably want you to cover the cost of those 20-somethings using all that data every month. But most people 50 and up like me only use 12 gigs or less. Don't get bamboozled by Big Wireless. Switch to Consumer Cellular. Our plans start at just $20, and we use the same towers as the big guys. Join the millions who choose something better, because if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used.
Visit consumercellular.com/facts or store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto e-billing. Site for additional facts.
My name is Whitney Allen. I'm a widow. My husband Ryan died. Never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance when the unexpected happens. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Looking for some iced caffeine, left you in the cold. No one knows why brown water costs as much as liquid gold. Told him your name was Brian, why does this cup take me cold? But then you found paradise in your cup. No replaces got you baby.
Traffic from the MichaelWarrenOutlet.com Traffic Center.
Well, we still got our 270 trouble. This traffic reports the service of Woodlands of Arnold Senior Living. Still the right lanes shut down. Southbound 270 north of 44. It's a solid jam, bumper to bumper crawling from Olive all the way down to that point. North 270 's bogged down north of Gravel, and it's bumper to bumper at 44. Westbound 44, the right lane's back up at Lindbergh, and it's slow through Bowles Road 141. Westbound 64 is on the brakes. Kings Highway at Clayton Skinker. Eastbound 64 east of Mason is heavy all the way into Latin McKnight is actually jammed Beatty into Clayton Worson on that eastbound run. Westbound 64, you've got heavy traffic west of K, most of the way to Winghaven, and 364 out to 70. Eastbound 270 still has a jam, Bellefonte to Riverview from earlier troubles on the Chain Rock. South 170 bugs down at Olive. Southbound 55 a little busy. Arsenal, south of Arsenal through Bates. Eastbound 5570, they have slow traffic. 203 midway into 111 due to a recent crash, and then you're jammed midway between 111 and 255 into 157. I'm Roger Brand at the Michael's Flooring Outlet.com Traffic Center.
The Woodlands of Arnold campus offers skilled rehab, a beautiful assisted living community, and a secure memory care to keep your loved ones safe. Check us out at rspseniorliving.com. That's rspseniorliving.com.
This is Rush Hour Sports on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It's Monday on Rush Hour Sports here on KMOX. Bernie Miklasz, Matt Pauley, Kevin Wheeler with you here. Baseball early, and we'll mix in some Mizzou and a couple other things as we go along. And shifting the topic, guys, and Bernie, you mentioned this in a text. This was an interesting storyline over the weekend, and it's not surprising because this has been a trendy thing in recent years in baseball. Is in fact, one of the rumors is that the Padres may try something like this with Mason Miller, who they got from the A. But there are reports now from legitimate people saying that there are teams interested, contending teams interested in Ryan Helsley potentially as a starting pitcher, which I find fascinating. I mean, the stuff is there. He was a starter in the minors, not a great one, but he's also better now. It was okay. Don't get me wrong. But
I'm going to have a word with you about
that's
that.
all right. Well, I mean, I guess we would have to define what great is.
Well, I'll give you some numbers if
All
you
right.
want them.
Well, let's have them because I like the idea, and I also like the idea for a lot of teams where, hey, worst case scenario, if it doesn't work, you got a guy that can pitch in the late innings.
Okay, now about his performance as a starter in the minor leagues. Let's start with this. Minor league stats can be deceiving,
sure,
right?
Yeah.
They can be misleading. They're not gospel. But I got to tell you, when I did the research on Ryan Helsley's record in the minors as a starting pitcher, it took all relief work out of it. I was actually like, wow, So anyway, let me go over this really quick. Apologize. 69 starts, 350 innings. His individual win-loss record was 27-10. His ERA was 2.74. He allowed an average of 6.3 hits per 9 innings. He gave up 0.48 homers per 9 innings. His strikeout rate was 26.3%. His walk rate was a little high, about 8.5%. Really good strikeout walk ratio, really good whip. That's a hell of a profile, if you ask me. That's really good pitching.
Yeah, I think the knock was he's like 4-inning starter, but they also didn't get, they had a need in the majors, so they never built up to what you would do for a guy that they get to that level, right? Because teams are typically careful with guys in the minors.
They're probably being a little careful with them too. In his final year in the minors, he made 2 starts in 2019 for Memphis, but they moved him to the bullpen because they knew they were going to put him in the majors soon, which they did in the bullpen. I think he pitched very, very well in that situation. So anyway.
Yeah, but hey, add that to the mix. I think it's a fascinating idea. So,
and by the way, that what I gave you, 69 starts, 350 innings, that's an average. That's an average of over 5 innings per start. And I'm not saying this makes the guy Bob Gibson, but I'm just saying he probably could have gone deeper. I think they're probably being careful with him, which was smart.
Yeah. It's a good time for him to try as well. And to your guys' point, we saw this happen with Jordan Hicks when he left. Clay Holmes is another guy that he moved on, and the Mets made him into a starter. I think if you're Ryan Helsley, right now is the greatest opportunity to possibly do that, especially if you go to a team on a 1-year deal, maybe with a team option or a player option or something connected to it, because he probably is not probably he. I think there's interest in him as a relief pitcher. I don't think what happened in New York was going to completely tank his value or anything like that. But at the same time, he's not coming off a dominant year as a relief pitcher. So if there's a moment in time to actually try this out at the major league level, because if it works, then all of a sudden your earning power as a pitcher is so much greater as a starting pitcher than even as a high-end relief pitcher. Now's the moment to go ahead and try this if you're Ryan Helsley.
I would think that Helsley would be enthusiastic about it. He has said in the past that he loved being a starter. But here's the other thing. If you're looking at where he fits into the free agent market among relievers, his stock is way down after he got blown up when he was a Met, and also just this whole thing about tipping pitches has been a problem for a while. But if you look at I had a thing on this, and I'm trying to find it, and I apologize. If you look at you kind of look at the advantage with him, he's in an overcrowded relief market. There are a bunch, and I mean a bunch of right-handed relievers available, and there are a bunch of left-handed relievers available. And there are many guys available that had a better year than he did last year. In fact, he was tied among right-handed relievers last year, okay? He was tied for 25th in wins above replacement. I mean, he just really didn't provide much value. So this is the type of thing where he could probably get a better deal as a starter because there's a million relievers out there that anybody can.
And there aren't many starters. Right? I mean, how many starters are out there that have his stuff? One,
very few.
Two, and you look at what Jordan Hicks got. Jordan Hicks got 5 years at $12-something million a year. I mean, Helsley has had a way better track record as a major league pitcher than Hicks had.
Helsley, listen, the tipping pitches thing is a concern, and number two, his four-seam fastball is garbage, absolute garbage. I mean, they hit it and that's the pitch he was tipping. They hit it last year for 444 average and a slugging percentage over 600. So he's got to get that fixed because anyone's going to offer him $13, $14, $15 million a year on a short-term contract. They better be confident that the tipping pitches thing is behind him. But I just think, what I'm trying to say, I think this idea has merit.
Yeah,
totally agree. And I don't know how many. And I think even the Cardinals would even take a look at it. But let me throw this in too, and I apologize. The only reason to bring him back is if Heimblum and his group believe it's all about baseball, and they believe that this could work.
Yeah.
And they feel strongly about it. The last thing they will do, they're not going to do it. And the last thing they should do is do something like this for sentimental reasons. Because we live in a town that is absolutely fixated and obsessed with former Cardinals. You got to bring guys back if they're going to be really good for your team. That's it.
Yeah. And if I'm another team, I can look at his previous major league history and go, yeah, teams hit 220 against his fastball 2 years ago and 250 the year before with no power. Like I can see the path to it if I'm another team and I'm saying, our guys can improve that. And if I'm a team that wants him in this, I don't want him on a 1-year deal. I want 3 or 4 years. I want to have that chance at having a good price on a starting pitcher for a period of time. And then if it doesn't work, I know I'm paying a lot. But I also know that he had 49 save season and could maybe close for me if things don't go well.
Right. That's the fallback. That's right.
Yeah.
Good, Matt.
I would like the Cardinals to. There's no organization that knows him better than the Cardinals. So I feel like there's already a built-in advantage if they're going to be the team that's going to convert him back into a starting pitcher. Garland makes a good point on the string, says he needs more than 2 pitches. He's got more than 2 pitches, but being able to expand that repertoire and being able to throw more than 2 pitches consistently. And you also have to remember when you're a relief pitcher, sometimes you only have 2 pitches because there's no reason to throw your third or fourth best pitch when you're in a 1-inning stint, where it's a different approach when you're a starter.
Yeah, I mean, when you throw 100 with a wipeout slider that opponents hit 140 against and slug 206 against, you don't need anything else. You throw those 2 things. But yeah, he had a curveball that was pretty good when he used it, and he added a cutter that we didn't see very much. So it'll be interesting, no question about it. All right.
The only thing, real quick, I would say, I know the Cardinals know him better than anybody. I agree with Matt Pauley, and I know Helsley likes being a Cardinal. Why couldn't the Cardinals detect and fix that flaw?
My question.
Him? I think that's a legitimate question to ask.
Totally agree. Ernie Miklasz, Matt Pauley, Kevin Wheeler with you here. Rush Hour Sports picks back up after the news on KMOX.
Swapping out your tires? There's nothing like it. With eBay, you can find the feel you're looking for. From smooth highway rides, grip for rough terrain. Get all the tires you need at prices you'll love. eBay. Things people love.
At 5:30, this news update is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. It's a cloudy sky, right now 51 degrees downtown at the Arch. The attorney for St. Louis Sheriff Alfred Montgomery says if politicians were removed for minor spending issues, you'd have to clear out a politician every other week. David Mason made that argument in court today while defending the sheriff against ouster proceedings. Fox 2's Chris Hayes.
I had to rush out here after the judge said this case will proceed. After defense counselor David Mason challenged all 6 allegations intended to remove Alfred Montgomery as sheriff, as he asked aloud in open court to the judge, quote, "Where's the beef?"
The trial to potentially remove the sheriff from office will proceed to closing arguments tomorrow. A St. Charles County councilman is trying to force a solution for neighbors near Weldon Spring who say highway noise is ruining their quality of life. Tim Baker says he visited the neighborhood near 364 personally.
So the traffic has grown so much that the sound is just terrible.
Baker tells Fox 2 he's hoping the county executive will support a sound wall, despite MoDOT previously ruling the area didn't qualify for one. As traffic picks up in airports ahead of the Thanksgiving holiday, Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy is using the opportunity to lobby lawmakers for more funding to upgrade the country's air traffic control system.
I would encourage the Congress to get to work and find that money. And I know when they do, the president's going to sign that bill.
While drivers have more audio choices than ever these days, a new study shows they don't want to give up one of the choices they've had the longest. Auto reporter Jeff Gilbert tells us what it is.
96% of car buyers tell the research firm Critical Mass having a built-in radio is important. This comes as some brands debate removing AM or even replacing both AM and FM with streaming. Consumers telling the research firm that radios are simple to use and allow them to easily find music and information.
Wish I didn't, but I do. Remember it coming on.
Well, country star Zach Bryan will launch his biggest international tour at the Dome at America's Center in St. Louis on March 7th of next year. Set to kick off the tour shortly after his highly anticipated new album, With Heaven on Top, drops on January 9th. Guns N' Roses returning to St. Louis for a massive show at Busch Stadium on August 16th. Marks only the second appearance of the city since the infamous Riverport riot of 1991, when lead singer Axl Rose sparked a melee that injured 65 people and caused thousands of dollars in damage. Tickets for the 2026 stadium concert go on sale to the general public on December 5th. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk for tonight, foggy, periods of rain, low 49. For tomorrow, some sun, the warmest day of the week, but it's also still going to be chilly with a high of about 59. 37 for tomorrow night, 46 for Wednesday, 29 for Wednesday night. Right now, we've got clouds. It's 51 downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
When all the rain is nothing to it. There's a brand new way to do it. 3-day kitchen and bath.
I had heard about 3-day kitchen and bath. I kind of always dismissed it, thinking, well, nobody can do that in 3 days. I wanted somebody who was going to come when they said they would come and, do what they said they were going to do. What I liked best was having it done in less than a week, the whole thing from top to bottom. Nobody can believe that I really had it done that fast. They absolutely held up to every single thing that they agreed to. I especially loved the fact that I didn't have to go out all over town. The overall quality was very good. All the workmanship was so excellent. They'll definitely do exactly what they say they're going to do. There's no surprises, no added costs later. They stay until everything's exactly the way you want it, and you're done.
Thanks, Lori. Check us out online at 3daykitchen.com.
At 3-day kitchen and bath.
Bernie Miklasz here on behalf of Saliga Heating and Cooling, a Daikin Comfort dealer, and it's the heating and cooling dealer that we have been calling for about 18 years now. Dan Saliga, fourth owner and operator of this proud and distinguished family business that St. Louisans have been relying on since 1927, nearly 100 years of business. The Miklashes know why, because we've been using them and calling them and dealing with them for a long time. Saliga stands for integrity, honesty, professionalism, knowledge. They're reliable. They come into your home. They treat you with the utmost respect. They don't try to play games. They don't try to hustle you. They don't try to talk you into stuff you don't need. In our experience, it's the other way. They always start by looking at the least expensive solution. They want your loyalty. They want your business. They want you to trust them, but they believe it's Liga Heating and Cooling. They must earn that trust every single time you call them. That's a great thing if you are a homeowner. If you want to find out more about Saliga and their heating and cooling operation and also their Priority Club, which is a maintenance program, and the phone number, just go to SaligaHeatingandCooling.com. Thank you.
At Cardinal Glennon Children's Hospital, every moment with our patients is a gift. This holiday season, you can be the reason children have hope as they fight serious illness and reach milestones once thought impossible. Your gift provides life-saving care to those who need it most. Please donate today at treeofhope.org and be the reason a child has hope for tomorrow.
A KFC tale in pursuit of flavor. The holidays were tricky for the Colonel. He loved people, but he also loved peace and quiet. So he cooked up KFC's $4.99 chicken hot dog. Warm, flaky, savory sauce and vegetables. It's a tender chicken-filled excuse to get some time to yourself and step away from decking the halls, whatever that means. The Colonel lived, so we could chicken. KFC's Chicken Pot Pie. The best $4.99 you'll spend this season.
Prices and participation may vary while supplies last. Taxes, tips, and fees extra. Selling your home, it's one of the biggest financial decisions you'll ever make. You could go it alone, trying to navigate market trends, determine price, and tackle tricky negotiations on your own. You could second guess every decision, wondering if you're doing it right. Then there's the showings, the offers, and the mountain of paperwork. Or you could work with the expertise of a realtor, here to guide and help protect as you make your next big move. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. Right by you.
After a disaster, emotional recovery takes time. Show Me Home Missouri is here for you with free, confidential support. Counselors help with stress, coping skills, and connect to resources. If the St. Louis tornado impacted you, visit goshowmehope.org from Missouri Department of Mental Health.
Just hearing the word IRS can make people break out in a cold sweat. No one wants to deal with the IRS, and now you don't have to. The good news is Legal Tax Defense has been successfully negotiating with the IRS for more than 15 years. It doesn't matter how much you owe, whether it's $5,000 or $5 million. You deserve the best in the business on your side. That is Legal Tax Defense. Even if you're working with someone else and just want a second opinion, there is no cost or obligation to call. They can prevent levies, liens, wage garnishments, even file back tax returns. And the best news about Legal Tax Defense is they won't take your case unless they know they will reduce or eliminate your tax debt. Call Legal Tax Defense right now for free, no-risk consultation. 800-323-8922. 800-323-8922. You have nothing to lose, but everything to gain. 800-323-8922.
Woke radical liberals are screwing up this country, but Congressman Jason Smith is fighting back. He backed one big, beautiful tax cut for working families, ending Social Security taxes for nearly all seniors, and taxes on tips and overtime gone. So call Congressman Jason Smith at 202-225-4404 and thank him for backing working family tax cuts and putting America first. Paid for by American Prosperity Alliance.
Tom Ackerman here for Busey Bank, recognizing the Guardian Angel Settlement Association as a building community partner. Guardian Angel serves under-resourced community members, helping them take the first step on the path to possible. They assist over 5,000 individuals in our community through their early childhood education and social stability programs. To learn more about Guardian Angel, Google Guardian Angel STL. Busey Bank encourages you to get involved. Together, we can build community.
This is Pat Buring, Executive Vice President at Busey Bank. At Busey, community and giving back are at the heart of everything we do. We're more than a bank. We're your neighbors and your partners. We take pride in engaging with the communities we serve and building lasting relationships because our commitment to strengthening our communities is a top priority. Whether you're shopping local or giving back through volunteerism, every little bit counts. Join us at Busey Bank as we continue building the communities we call home.
Traffic from the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
Well, they just have the right lane blocked now on southbound 270 with this crash north of 44, but it's still a solid jam, pretty much back to a point between Olive and Ladue. Southbound 270 is crawling along through the area. Westbound 44 is backed up both sides of Lindbergh. Looks like we got a problem there. A lot of folks have been taking 141. It's backed up south of Ladue down to 64. There's heavy traffic coming down from like Hilldale toward the Highlands Boulevard area. It's pretty heavy at Carmen, and it jams north of Big Bend into Valley Park. If you're thinking about that as an alternate route, southbound 170 slows down at Ladue. Westbound 64 from the Science Center headed out to Big Bend's heavy. Spady Ballas area a little slow. K midway out to Winghaven and approaching Prospect. Eastbound 64 Lindbergh in through Big Bend's heavy. If you're on eastbound 270, it's thin out at the Chain Rocks. Westbound 44 a little heavy downtown. Southbound 55 just a little busy. Gasconade Bates and approaching M. And eastbound 55-70, we've had some incidents east of 203, a crash in the left lane at Jams approaching 203, and then you're backed up 255 most of the way to 157. I'm Roger Brand at MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
Sponsored by the Moolah Shrine Center Festival of Trees.
Hello, everyone. I want to invite you to the Moolah Festival of Trees. Come see over 40 of the best decorated trees you'll ever see. Adult tickets are only $2, and kids under 12 are free. November 22nd through the 29th at the Moolah Shrine Center.
Rush Hour Sports continues on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It's Monday on Rush Hour Sports. Bernie Miklasz, Matt Pauley, Kevin Wheeler with you here. Obviously, be doing heavy baseball. The heavier the news gets here in the off season, we still got something for you every day. Let's switch over to Mizzou, guys. A lot of that game went the way we talked about it on Friday. Mizzou defense did a great job. The Oklahoma offense was challenged. So therefore, throughout a lot of the game, Mizzou was in the game, but same story, Bern. When you're facing the top teams, it's really hard for these guys to score points.
Mizzou had won there since 1966, and they've now lost 19 in a row in Norman. You got to go in there with an attitude and edge. You got to go in there with the feeling like, listen, we're not going to tiptoe. We're not going to settle. We're going to go for it. We got a chance to get a touchdown. We're going to go for it. We're going to be aggressive. We're going to let it all hang out. So what happens? They have the momentum in the game, and it's 3-0 early, and they got the ball, and they're driving again. They have a 4th and 3. Drinkwitz keeps the offense on the field. Brent Venables, the Oklahoma coach, looks at it and basically says, let me see if I can get into this guy's head. And he calls a timeout to look at what Mizzou was doing. Drinkwitz he gets all nervous, and he puts his field goal unit on the field, which is incredibly stupid because his field goal unit is horrible.
Mm-hmm.
They almost blocked the first one because there was a gap in their protection, and they never closed the gap for the second field goal attempt, which Oklahoma zoomed through and blocked it. I mean, why are you going into Oklahoma and tiptoeing when your team at that point's got the momentum? And then after that little episode, what was it? 3-4 plays later, it's off to the races, and all of a sudden, Oklahoma's up.
Game changes.
And the game was over because the Mizzou offense, that team was rattled after that. And that offense, they don't have a passing game, period. Period. They don't.
It's frustrating. There's a lot of things that are frustrating about Mizzou. I think what's especially frustrating is the fact that they can be – this has a lot to do with who they're playing. They went on the road to a top 10 team, a team that's likely to be in the college football playoff. There is nothing easy about that. But going from a week where you score 49 points to a week that you score 6, and they were each SEC games. I mean, Mississippi State isn't great, but they're not a bad football team. It's very frustrating, the Jekyll and Hyde nature of who this team is from an offensive standpoint.
Got to throw the football, man. In college football, you are not going to win if you can't throw the football. Period. The end. I mean, you can be more of a running team, right? We've seen some Ohio State teams that probably run a little more than they throw. They're not spread offense. But if you can't throw, you can't win in college football against top competition.
Well, that's right. And listen, first of all, in the last 3 seasons, Drink has won 14 SEC games. The teams that they beat have a combined 27-83 record. That's a 245 winning percentage. So they can slap those teams around, right?
Yeah.
But the problem is when they run into some defenses, as they have, that can shut down the run, they don't have anywhere to go. Let me just read you this really quick. This is an SEC games only this season, and Bo Prabula has taken like 71% of the dropbacks. Mizzou ranks last in completion percentage, last in the SEC in adjusted yards per pass attempt, last in touchdown pass percentage, last in passer efficiency rating, 14th in interception rate, on and on and on and on. It is the worst passing attack in the SEC. Now, how are you going to beat the best teams when you can't throw the football?
You're not.
And they haven't been able to throw the football with skill since 2023 because it wasn't all that hot last year. And it's really bad this year. I'm sorry, Matt.
No, I was agreeing with you. You're 100% right. And Kevin said it. They have to find a way to be able to throw the football more often. They have to have a way to have more of a deep threat. We thought maybe we were seeing that a little bit with Zollers, but it was just too soon for him. I think we can still be really excited about what it's going to look like with him moving forward. It's simple. The equation to win college football games at a high level is simple, and Missouri's not doing it. And oh yeah, by the way, against Oklahoma, they didn't run the ball that effectively either. Hardy ran 17 times, 57 yards, averaged less than 3.5 yards per carry. So it's not even like it was a day where they couldn't throw the ball, but they had some success on the ground. No, they didn't. They did nothing off it.
Yeah, and let's talk more about the quarterback specifically, like what they do there in the next segment. But I think they have their offensive design confuses me. When you have this many playmakers and you can't find ways to get guys running drag routes underneath, I'm not talking about their line's not good enough to sit back and read the defense and find the seam down the middle. But you have an elite tight end. You have at least two, probably three high-end receivers, two of them really good. Two of them look like they can play on Sundays at some point, whether they're high draft picks or not, look like they could be on NFL rosters. How are you not able to, and you have the running backs. How can you not scheme something? I'm not talking about 40 points against Oklahoma, but how can you not scheme something that's a little quicker, that's not going to put your quarterback in a bad position?
No, absolutely right. No question about it. And that's been their weakness.
And that's the part that makes it hard for me is, and this is, by the way, you said it well earlier, Bernie, during DGS. Not trying to run drink off. We're just trying to make a point here that you, as a head coach, you have to see what's not working and you have to fix it. So if you have an offense that's 2 or 3 years in a row not good enough, you either need a new coordinator or you need to free up your coordinator or you need to come up with some new ideas about how to do things because what you're doing is not going to work against. You're in the SEC, man. There aren't many easy wins in the SEC. It's not the Big 12 anymore.
Well, first Eli Drinkwitz, sorry, but Eli Drinkwitz is the reason we're having this conversation. And it's actually from a positive standpoint.
Correct.
He has lifted this program to a point where we can sit here and expect better things and expect better results, and for this team to do all these things that we expect them to do. So, yeah, when we have these conversations about what can you do better, I don't actually think that's us taking shots at Eli Drinkwitz. I think that's us saying, hey, this is a guy who's lifted the program, and we are now expecting them to do certain things.
Yeah. No doubt about it. But listen, not to oversimplify it, because everything you guys have said is true, and I agree with, but his best quarterback since he became the coach 6 seasons ago is Brady Cook, who was recruited by Barry Odom. Now, Drink came to Mizzou with this reputation, this great offensive mastermind or whatever. Well, how come he hasn't been able to identify, sign, develop all those things? A high-impact quarterback that would give them much more impact offensively in the SEC. Now, maybe Matt Zollers can evolve into that guy. I hope so. But if you think about it, that is a pretty bad reflection on the coach. That his best quarterback is a guy that Barry Odom got for him, basically, and left for him. That's pretty sad.
Yeah, good point. Let's talk about that position for our last segment. And I'll present it to you this way. Do you have the freedom to just go ahead and see if Matt Zollers can be the guy next year, or do you need to buy a quarterback? And because if you're not good at developing them, maybe you need to find one that's already developed and just plug him in. We'll kick that around coming up next here on KMOX.
Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. Cantor Cantor is local, and we're here doing the work every day. We're right here in St. Louis, and we're ready to fight for you. CantorInjuryLaw.com or call 314-628-9999.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements.
Get into the spirit of the season with free holiday concerts by the U.S. Air Force Band of Mid-America, December 6th through 12th. Get free tickets and locations at afbandtix.org. That's afbandtix.org.
Traffic from the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
Well, our biggest jams are still heading south. They still have the right lane shut down southbound 270 north of 44 from that earlier crash. South 270 is slow south of Olive, and it's a solid jam from 64 all the way down to the crash scene. Westbound 44 west of Lindbergh, we got a crash. Traffic's backed up near Big Bend. If you're on southbound 141, you're backed up from Carmen all the way down into Valley Park at this time, so be prepared for that. Northbound 270, some heavy traffic north of Manchester headed up through 64. We have a crash northbound on Highway K, just south of 364. Traffic's jammed back near O'Fallon Road because of that one. South 170, bumper to bumper from Ladue to 64. Eastbound 64, heavy approaching 170 to Big Bend. Westbound 64, Kings Highway headed out to Big Bend is busy. And eastbound 5570 still pretty congested. 203 about midway into 111 from an earlier crash, and from 255 to 157. I'm Roger Brand in the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
You've got your whole life ahead of you, so choose a Medicare plan you can count on. And that's what you get with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. With more than 45 years experience serving its members, United Healthcare has plans with low monthly premiums that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today. United Healthcare Medicare plans. It's Medicare coverage Missouri can count on.
This is Rush Hour Sports on 104.1 FM KMOX.
All right, get ready to wrap up Rush Hour Sports. After this, by the way, Monday Night Football on KMOX. We'll have the pregame for you to start things off. It's Carolina in San Francisco, so the Panthers and the 49ers on Monday Night Football here on KMOX. All right, let's finish out that conversation on Mizzou, guys. Bernie, you outlined it so well. That Mizzou has had such a hard time under Drinkwitz developing a quarterback to be the next guy. Maybe it's more practical to trust buying one, whether it's from a group of five or wherever you can find one that's played some. And I say this, by the way, as a University of Miami alum, who has a school that hasn't developed a quarterback in years, but they put out winning teams because they go buy quarterbacks every year.
Absolutely. And listen, here's an example. No, they have to go buy a quarterback unless they're 100% convinced Zollers is going to be the guy. But here, can I just throw one more stat in here?
Please.
Okay, what's the one thing that Mizzou did very, very well for a lot of their games? Not all the games. They ran the football.
Mm-hmm.
Ahmad Hardy got all kinds of attention. He was a national story. Jamal Roberts, very, very good. So they went into every game where the other side is thinking, we got to stop the run. We got to stop the run. We got to stop the run. Have they ever heard of any? They ever heard of the play action pass down there? Is that a new thing? Where you fake the handoff to the back, which freezes the pass rush, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you throw it. They completed 48% of their play action passes, last in the SEC this year, and also averaged 2.1 yards per attempt on play action. You know how many yards they had all year in play action passes? 187.
Oh,
in SEC games.
That should be where you get big plays.
With those running backs?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. See, that might be the number one indictment about how incompetent this offense is. The design, to your point.
And just going back to the quarterback thing as well, I don't mean to be a smart aleck here. Didn't we think that's what they were doing this year with Tribula?
He hadn't played, though. Like, I'm talking about getting someone at a smaller school who's been a starter, who's got 15, 20 games under their belt.
Like Joey Aguilar.
And like him going there, like Diego Pavia going to Vanderbilt, right?
Okay.
So like Cam Ward going to Miami. Cam Ward had started 35 or 36 games before he ever walked on campus. Now, again, you're not getting that guy, I don't think, not unless you got $5 million to throw at a quarterback. But there are plenty of guys who are playing at lower levels of schools who play and have talent. And we've seen, I think, and I don't know if you guys agree, experience has mattered maybe more than ever, with a few exceptions. Saying at Ohio State has been great, but he's also surrounded by great talent. And it's a team that does develop quarterbacks. So it's not 100%, but boy, when you're in doubt, the guys that have game action under their belts are really helpful.
But even a year earlier, Ohio State went to Will Howard, who had been a long-time starter.
Right.
Yeah.
Good point.
So that's
Good point.
Yeah.
All right, we solved it, guys.
It's a tough position, and there's no easy answers. Like you guys said, unless they're going to pay $4 or $5 million to bring a guy in, that's going to be the cost of doing business. And by the way, we still don't know whether Drinkwitz will be their coach or not.
That's a good
Still
point.
up in the air.
Yeah,
Although after some of these offensive trends, I'd be, if I'm a fan of Florida, LSU, Penn State, Auburn, I'm like, what? Wait, they can't throw the ball. Why would we hire this guy, right?
Yeah.
I'm serious.
Yeah, and Florida's already had problems developing their own quarterbacks, and they're getting top recruits.
Right. Amen.
Yeah, it's going to be a fascinating offseason in that regard. And the Penn State job obviously is off the board now, and that was one that made quite a bit of sense. It'll be interesting to see what LSU does. And of course, it's all about Lane Kiffin now, and that won't be decided until after this week is over at the very earliest. So we sit back and wait and hope that the good moves are coming. And maybe we're out of time. Maybe we can bring this up another time, but maybe that's what that whole NIL thing was about. It's like, hey, we got to go buy a quarterback. Let's go. Help me out a little bit.
That's right.
Boys, great stuff. Hey, have a happy Thanksgiving. I'm out after today. You guys have a great week and a great Thanksgiving. Same to everybody listening. We got Monday Night Football coming your way next up here on KMOX.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Tech.
Smart Ring maker Aura has shifted